Halfland, an ahistorical prehistory. The Battle of the Statue. In the elven forest was a clearing, and in the clearing was a mound, and atop the mound was a statue of the elven goddess Mariana, the queen of the trees. Strikingly beautiful she was, standing on a pedestal, holding a golden apple, watching over the forest that she ruled. Into the forest marched the halflings to take possession of the land, fell the trees, and cultivate the earth. Into the clearing they marched, and all around elven eyes were watching them from the trees. It was in the year 84 of the Common Reckoning that Brocco Proudnose led 300 halflings into the elven forest, looking to drive out the elves. 100 archers he had, and 100 slingers, and 100 halflings with stout shields and spears. And Brocco himself wore a coat of mail, which he had purchased at great expense from a dwarvish trader, and he carried a hunting horn. About 250 elves had gathered to defend their goddess. They were dressed for hunting, not for war, armed with light bows. With no overall leader, small groups of elves scattered themselves around the periphery of the clearing, waiting for the halflings. The halflings marched into the clearing in a single body, with Brocco in the front rank. The front and sides of the group consisted of slingers and archers, with the spear halflings in the centre. As the halflings approached the mound and its statue, Brocco called for them to halt. He then detached groups of mixed slingers and archers to scout round both sides of the mound, while he advanced further toward it with a group of slingers, leaving the spear halflings behind him. As the right-hand group of halflings advanced around the mound, elven arrows flew from the trees, and several of the halflings fell. Brocco immediately wheeled the group of slingers in the centre to face this threat. There followed a brisk exchange of missiles, following which no more elven arrows flew from the forest. But the right-hand group of halflings had also been wiped out. Meanwhile, a group of elves had emerged from the forest on the side of the clearing furthest from the halflings. Unseen, they crept up to the foot of the mound, concealed behind it. The elves on the halflings' left were less circumspect. Finding that the group of halflings nearest to them were out of bowshot, they charged out of the forest to close the range. The halflings greeted them with a flight of arrows and sling bullets, and reduced their numbers somewhat. Meanwhile, more elves emerged from the forest on the far side of the clearing, stealthily joining their brethren behind the mound, and then a third group of elves slid out of the forest, moving with the same objective. The elves on the halfling left were now loosing arrows at the halflings on that flank, with some effect. Brocco Proudnose gestured to the halfling slingers in the centre to push out further right and forward to make sure that there was no further threat from that direction. He ordered the halflings on the left flank to fall back, out of the range of the elven bows. The halflings did so, but did not fall back so far that the elves were out of range of the halfling slings. The halfling slingers were accurate, and the elven threat on the halfling left was eliminated. At this point, the halflings on the right caught sight of the elven forces accumulating behind the mound and called for assistance. Brocco sent the halflings from the left flank to join them. Again, the halflings formed up within sling range of the elves, but out of the range of the elvish bows, and the elves behind the mound started to fall. As all the surviving elves formed into a single group behind the mound, the halflings continued to pelt their flank with slingshot, further thinning the elven ranks. And Brocco now ordered his spear halflings forward to the foot of the mound opposite to that where the elves were drawn up. Observing the tips of halfling spears protruding over the mound, the elves charged onto the mound with the intention of sweeping over it and sweeping away the spear halflings. But even as they did so, the halfling slingers and archers on the elven left advanced to a range where they could pour arrows as well as slingshot into the elves. Disconcerted, the elves stopped, turned, and attempted to retaliate in kind. But they were bested in the exchange. Although they killed a few of the halflings, the elven force atop the mound was shot to pieces. Frantic with fear and anger, desperate to protect their holy statue, the few surviving elves charged back down the mound into a group of halfling slingers, cutting them all down. But the remaining halfling slingers and archers then swarmed around them. Although the elves fought bravely, throwing many of the halflings back, the elves were outnumbered and surrounded, and they were slaughtered. Thus ended the Battle of the Statue.